That sounds good. Well, then I'll let y'all take it away with the ARIC item, please.
Thank you. I think we're going to switch out, so give us a moment to swap some staff in and out, and that should get going as soon as folks are in.
Chair, I'm handing it back to you. We're just heading into item number 2.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mayor Pro Tem, council members. My name is Joe Chacon. I'm an assistant chief with the Austin Police Department. I appreciate the opportunity to come in front of you today to discuss the ARIC and the important work that they do and answer any questions you may have. I know that time is running a little bit short. I'll keep my opening comments pretty brief so that I can turn it over to some other panel members that we have that will be giving a presentation about the ARIC. But one of the areas that I currently oversee is our intelligence division, and that includes the Austin Regional Intelligence Center. The ARIC was opened in December of 2010 and currently includes 21 partner agencies that are covering a 10-county region. This resource really plays a strong role in Central Texas in providing information and intelligence to law enforcement agencies to battle criminal activity and to counter violent extremism and domestic terrorism. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to the ARIC's Director of Operations, Lieutenant Michael Early. He'll be giving an overview of the ARIC and its mission and its operations, and has a short presentation, and I will stay on if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, for the introduction. Thank you to the committee for hearing or for allowing us to come present, and to the council members for also being present and listening. We are here at the ARIC, and I have my deputy directors present as well. Like the chief said, the ARIC was stood up in December of 2010, and it is a nationally recognized fusion center. So if we could go ahead and power up the PowerPoint that I have prepared. Great. Next slide, please. So what is a fusion center? A fusion center is a collaborative effort of 2 or more agencies that provide resources, expertise, and information to the center with the goal of maximizing their ability to detect, prevent, investigate, and respond to criminal and terrorist activity. So the key words there, detect and prevent, as far as a fusion center goes. That's our objective, is to interrupt, disrupt major incidents before they ever occur. Next slide, please. How did fusion centers begin? Shortly after 9/11 occurred, there was the 9/11 Commission was developed, and one of the failures that was discovered was that each law enforcement agency was operating within silos. And had they been sharing information and collaborating and cooperating with one another, the chances of disrupting that event would have been increased substantially. So that's what kicked off the Fusion Center evolution or creation, and put us where we are today. Next slide, please. This is our area of responsibility, and you'll hear us call it an AOR. This is the capital area of Capital Council of Governments area, and it's 10 counties, 8,600 square miles, and encompasses somewhere around 2.2 million people. As you can see, there's other colors on the state of Texas map. The other colors indicate other fusion center locations. So there's 8 fusion centers in the state of Texas. We are co-located with the state fusion center here at Texas DPS headquarters. Next slide, please. Again, like I said, we are a recognized fusion center by the Department of Homeland Security. Our purpose is to collect, analyze, and disseminate intelligence information to the law enforcement community. We assist law enforcement agencies with case investigations and analysis. A large portion of our workload has to do with case investigation assistance. We also vet suspicious activity reporting, and we assist the Joint Terrorism Task Force, which is assigned to the FBI here in Austin. Next slide, please. These are our partner agencies, our official partner agencies. We have 21 official partners. I'll let you guys look at that. And while you're browsing that, you might notice that the fire department is, the Austin Fire Department is the only fire department listed as an official partner. Chief Kennedy, are you on?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few thoughts on the Austin Fire Department's involvement and partnership in the Austin Regional Intelligence Center. I am Jeffrey Kennedy, the Assistant Fire Chief of Austin Fire Department's Homeland Security and Fire Prevention Branch. As mentioned in the previous slides, because of Presidential Policy Directive 8 on national preparedness and the 9/11 Commission report, the Austin Police Department has been very gracious and stellar and effectively integrating the Austin Fire Department in the Fusion Center. So we're very thankful to them and council as well for the inclusion. We have been a partner with the Austin Regional Intelligence Center since 2011, and we have benefited as a consumer, a collaborator, and a contributor. And while all of those overlap, I'll begin with us as a consumer. In support of our own mission statement, we have used this partnership to enhance our prevention, preparedness, and emergency response plans. And through this partnership, we've had access to other Fusion Center resources, educational materials, and training classes, which have allowed us to create our own continual education classes that have been recognized by the Texas Commission on Fire Protection as they relate to responding to terrorist events and violent extremist events. So we've also benefited through our arson investigations division with this partnership through the many databases, as well as the force multiplier with the outreach and the threat liaison officer program in apprehension of arson suspects. As a collaborator within the ARIC, our non-law enforcement voice adds a perspective to the Homeland Security concept of whole of nation, but we kind of dial it down as a whole of community in which the approach is diverse and draws on the strength of the differences of the different operating agencies. So we have built trust within the ARIC and built trust with APD that our perspective is respected and looked at very closely when we're analyzing or helping to analyze certain situations. And then finally, as a contributor, not only for reporting suspicious activity, we also educate and provide outreach to other fire departments in that 10-county region, as well as non-law enforcement agencies and across the nation as well. There are over 25 fire departments that are integrated into fusion centers across the nation. And with our decade-long relationship with APD, we've had the opportunity to assist and consult with a number of fire departments and fusion centers to get their program started with fire service integration. And that's not only just here in the state of Texas, but it also has benefited us across the nation. So as I close with those experiences as a consumer collaborator and contributor, we have benefited immensely with this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Kennedy. Speaking on behalf of the ARIC, I can tell you that we absolutely love our relationship with the fire department. They bring unique perspectives to threats and scenarios that police officers aren't trained to see. They see different things than we do. So we absolutely love our partnership with them and our relationship that we've built with them. As you can see, we have 21 partners. There's many other, actually, police departments and sheriff's offices that would like to become members. More so, probably, than we can actually bring in all at one time. So I think we have a product that others are seeking. Next slide. As far as allotted personnel for the ARIC, we have one APD commander. We have one lieutenant assigned here, and he's also the director, and that's myself. We have one sergeant. He's a deputy director. We have one criminal intelligence analyst supervisor. She's a civilian deputy director. We have two full-time detectives housed here. We have two FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force detectives assigned at the FBI Austin office. We have three full-time APD crime intelligence analysts here at the ARIC with the capability of going, I believe, up to about 10 with our partner agency analysts when they're here at the ARIC. We have four full-time APD officers who are intelligence officers, one fire lieutenant attached to the ARIC, and one public health personnel. Next slide, please. So I'll let you take a look at this slide here. Intelligence information received from various sources is analyzed from its force nexus to the Central Texas area and then disseminated as appropriate. So in a nutshell, the ARIC is a hub for information. Information comes into the ARIC. It's analyzed, it's vetted. It goes back out as an intelligence product. That's the flow. As far as the daily operations, we do what's called request for information. When I said earlier that a large portion of our work product has to do with case assistance, that's what request for information is. When an investigator has hit a roadblock or needs additional information and they don't have access to it through databases that they have access to, they can reach out to us and we will provide them with the information that they seek if we have it. The request for analysis, we do this on occasion, quite often actually, and that is where someone requests for us to do linkage charts and things like that. We have a robust outreach and TLO program. Our outreach and TLO side of the house is kind of our bread and butter. That is, it's a core capability for a fusion center. It's an area that we spend a lot of time in teaching and educating. It's a very important part of the ARIC. The suspicious activity reporting, like I said earlier, we do vetting and we also follow up with that. We do real-time open source analysis, and we also do special event threat analysis for major events. And I believe we're doing about 13 a year for threat analysis and major events. And down below, you'll see the ways that we can get information through state agencies, other local law enforcement and public safety partners, federal partners, open source reporting, private industry, and tips from the public. Next slide, please. So intelligence is received from various sources, all the way from the federal level down to the municipal level. It's collected and analyzed, and we're looking for a nexus to the Central Texas area. And we're looking for crime trends, terror alerts, or bulletins, and that can be officer safety bulletins, request to apprehend, which would be a fugitive, or request to identify somebody where, let's just say somebody committed a crime and we have a photograph or a video of them and no one knows who they are. We can push that out to all of our partners in hopes of getting that person identified. Next slide. Okay, I believe that's it. Any questions for the ARIC or? Okay, here we go. So as far as investigative case support, like I said, if an investigator hits a roadblock and can't push their case forward, if they're lacking some key information, they can send us a request for information. We have access to databases that they do not have access to, that we can can help push their case forward for them. I think it's important to note that the ARIC does not conduct investigations. We have no stake in investigations. We merely assist the investigators in obtaining the information that they seek. I believe that's the last slide. Am I correct? Yes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the presentation. Colleagues, do we have any questions? Sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I can't see it. Oh, grid. Councilmember Alter?
You might have touched on this, but I think I missed it. Financing of ARIC and how that works.
The financing of ARIC. We receive grant funding every year. That's managed through the governor's office. And this year, I believe we're getting $450,000 in grant funds. And then we also have a Sustainment Fund, which the ARIC is unique from other fusion centers in that to be a member of the ARIC, you pay a fee annually. And the fee is $117 per sworn officer for your department. And annually, I think we receive somewhere in the ballpark of about $460,000 in Sustainment Fund from our partner agencies.
And so then with all of that staff covered, then how much are you receiving from the general fund towards ARIC?
For salaries and benefits?
Mm-hmm.
For our staff?
Whatever other costs you have. That...
I think about $2.3 million for the APD staff and with salary and benefits. And then the annual APD sustainment payment is ballpark $226,000 annually.
And then out of that, roughly 2.5 million is the 900,000 in the grant and in the sustainment pay for that, or is that on top of that?
Two separate accounts. Maybe I'm not understanding the question.
I'm trying to understand how much we are paying to stand this up, and trying to understand the regional contributions and how all that flows, and whether we are essentially subsidizing other areas, or we're, I'm trying to assess the benefits, and one piece of that is the financial element. And so there's a lot of resources we're putting in, and if that doesn't cover, if none of the sustaining stuff covers that, but we're most of the staff, that's what I'm trying to understand that.
Correct. We are the staff. We support it with personnel. We support. It's managed by our finance division. The majority of the work that's done here is generated by the Austin Police Department. So we are a critical resource for the Austin Police Department, as well as a resource.
Councilmember, can I help answer that question? I think I understand where you're headed with it. So everyone that contributes personnel to the center, whether that's APD or a partner agency, is responsible for covering the salaries of their employees. And that comes out of the general fund for APD. The Sustainment Fund that is contributed by all the partners, including APD, as well as the grant funding, does not go to salaries. It actually goes to the sustainment of all of the equipment, the databases, the structure out of GPS, and so forth.
Okay, so again, not questioning the value of ARIC at all. I would really appreciate some follow-up data on kind of the breakdown of who's using what and relative to what we're contributing in terms of funding. Because we're it's great if we do get the majority benefit, but we're paying the majority of the costs from what I'm understanding from this brief overview, which again, I don't have in writing, so I may misinterpret it. So that is none of that to question ARIC. I'm just, sometimes we need to revisit funding models. And I think that would be something that, you know, as we have scarce resources and we have scarce personnel, that we need to look at again and assess that in line with best practices across the country. And have we done that? And if not, can we see some analysis of those financials?
Absolutely. And I can just tell you that, you know, the Austin Police Department does provide a good amount of the funding that actually goes into the center, but they also do the lion's share of the biggest consumer of what comes out of the center. So more requests for information, more requests for analysis, and investigative information that our criminal investigators need are fulfilled by the ARIC than all the other partners combined. So I think that there is a lot of value for APD, particularly, and then everybody else sees a great value based on what they pay into the center as well.
And again, at this point, I'm not questioning the value at all. I just need, you know, insofar as we are responsible for those resources, I would like to see the data to back up what you just said, which I'm sure is perfectly true, but I would like to see the data for that.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you for this great overview of the Fusion Center. I had the unique opportunity prior to running for office to learn about the asset that our city uses when I enrolled in the Austin Police Department's Citizens Police Academy. And what struck me there when I learned about the Fusion Center is something that was mentioned briefly in the beginning of this presentation, that you all prevent incidents from occurring and vet information related to incidents that may occur. I think the most interesting piece of that we haven't really touched on is the work that goes on behind the scenes. And oftentimes that work goes on in the residents of the 10-county region that it serves. We don't know about it because it's all happening back behind the scenes, and it benefits us from that public safety background and all the agencies because they're able to share information. I'm wondering if you might be able to elaborate a little bit without giving away all your secrets on some examples of incidents or information specifically that the Fusion Center has been able to get in front of.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing this up. In 2019, we saw
if I may interject just a moment, I just want to do a time check. It's 5:07 p.m. So I can appreciate the council member's question, but if we can keep the response brief, we still have one more briefing.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you.
In 2019, we saw 148 school threats to our local AOR. As you know, school threats are a huge concern nationally as well as throughout here in Texas. We are absolutely, that is one thing that we do really well, is mitigate school threats. Nothing is more precious than our children, and we're completely dedicated to seeing that those incidents do not occur. Also, in 2020, we had a subject that was terminated by his employer. He was very upset by this. He made threats to come back and commit workplace violence with a weapon, a handgun. We received the information. We began running it down and vetting it. We conducted interviews, learned that this subject was, in fact, was very serious about his threats. We sent patrol out at the time that he had said he was going to return to his workplace to carry out his threats. Patrol was able to apprehend this subject with the weapon, with ammunition, and extra magazines on his way back to the work site. So that's another example. It's just that in the intelligence world is different in that if we do our job correctly and we do it to the best of our ability and all things happen the way they should, it's not newsworthy. We've prevented it. We've disrupted it.
Thank you for explaining that. I have one final question, Mayor Pro Tem, if it's okay. I sit now on the CAPCOG Executive Committee, and I'm aware that a lot of the Homeland Security emergency management grants flow through there. And so I'm wondering if some of that is where your funding comes from as well.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Great, thank you.
Colleagues, are there any other questions? If not, I have a few of my own. All right, so I'll practice what I preach, so to speak. I wanted to ask a couple questions. There was one mention to, did you say linkage charts? It's sort of low. I thought maybe you said one of the services that you provide is linkage charts. Did I hear that?
Link analysis is what my deputy director is advising. Link analysis.
And I'm assuming the link analysis is self-explanatory. You're making a chart of how things are connected.
Correct. It has to be a criminal case. It can be anything from people to phone numbers. We're just making linkages between the different elements involved in the crime.
I see. Typically, who asks for those?
It can be investigators, organized crime investigators. It can even be the district attorney's office investigators or even prosecutors.
Thank you. So, one of the reasons that I really wanted to get a better understanding of ARIC, it was, sort of loosely on my radar, but really became on my radar when I found out about several Juneteenth activities that had been surveilled. And so I'm just trying to get a better understanding of why that took place. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar directly with that situation, and if not, I can elaborate. I'm very curious why community events for African American cultural celebration were surveilled.
Yes, I'm loosely familiar with what you're talking about. We don't like to use the word surveil because that indicates that we're continually reviewing or continually monitoring something, and that's not the case. It's called open source analysis. Whenever we become aware of an event within our AOR, we just take a look at open source information, Twitter, Facebook, things like that. All we're doing is looking to see if there's any threats being made to those events, because the safety of our community and the members attending those are our top priority. And threats can come, as we all know, threats come online a lot of times. So we don't like to use the word surveil. We don't like to use the word monitor. We prefer to use the word research or review. We're looking for threats to the attendees.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for clarifying that language also. I'm just curious, what, generally speaking, in addition to things like a Juneteenth or, let's say, a Black History Month or a Cinco de Mayo, I'm very curious, in addition to that, what kinds of other kinds of community events are researched?
It could be South by Southwest, any protest or rally that's planned, Juneteenth, ACL, F1, a large concert, any place that a large portion of our community is going to gather.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll stop there. I'm getting a note that we really need to wrap it up. And so I think Vice Chair Kassar has already taken his leave. Councilmember Kelly, I think that will leave you and I to make the decision. I think what's being asked is whether or not we're comfortable moving the wildfire briefing to next month.
I'm okay with that. I was actually going to possibly suggest that if we do have these meetings, maybe we think about scheduling them a little earlier in the day so that we can review things more comprehensively and leave room for questions.
They're sort of set where they are, but I'll connect with you offline about how the committee meetings are lined up. That to say, I actually, Vice Chair, do you have any thoughts on whether or not
I'm okay with waiting till next month. Sorry, y'all, I had something come up here and I had to step away during this briefing, but I'm sure we can continue to follow up and I'll watch what I missed.
I understand. And so in that case, for the parties on the line who need to make the necessary adjustments for us to move that wildfire briefing to next month, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and initiating that. And so CTM has to set up for a meeting at 5:30, in which case I'm going to give us about 5 more minutes to close it out if there are any other questions from my colleagues. It doesn't appear to be so, in which case the next agenda, forgive me, I'm toggling. I think in my rush to close some tabs, I might close my agenda tab. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've covered our briefings with the exception of the one that we'll move.